Behind the whistle.
So Mike, first thing I want to ask you is, real quick, who are you?
Yep.
And give me like 30 seconds of who you are right now as a person. Like, how would you describe yourself?
I am ambitious. I am somebody who's 53 years old, and I've played different types of sports, and they've all sort of just brought me to this point where I can sort of be inspirational. I can get my knowledge, and I'm just somebody who's just going to keep it real the whole time, and what you get is what you see.
Mm-hmm. Have you always been that way?
No.
You
when
haven't?
I was young, man, like people trip out on me now. When I was young, I was very to myself and self-regulated, and I was the son of a lieutenant colonel.
Yeah.
So you speak when you're spoken to, and don't talk back, and that's very opposite of who I am now. I'm very outspoken. So, but it's taken a lifetime to get there. So yeah, That's who I am now.
And how did you become like who you are now? Because I can tell you for a fact that me personally, I think you're one of the most pleasant people to be around. And I really mean that.
I appreciate that.
And whenever I see you in the stadium, I see you around, I'm just like, oh yeah, it's going to be a vibe. Like, we're going to have a good time.
Okay.
And like, you always come up like always super positive and lifting everyone up and cooperating and just doing the right thing. And I appreciate that in you. And I want to know, how did you become that person? Maybe even just dive a little bit into I don't know much about your story.
Yeah.
How you were raised, or some of the things that you've been through in your life to get to where you are today. Just to give a bit of background.
Yeah. Well, I really didn't start figuring out myself until I was about 30.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, from the time you're born, you're doing what your mom tells you, your older siblings are telling you, your teachers, your peers.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that until you're about 21. You have your coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really figure out who you are until you have people stop telling you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then the problem with that is that you become this person that doesn't know how to think for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that didn't happen to me when I got out here, tried out for a professional team. The team folded. I didn't know what to do, but I couldn't go home because I didn't want to go home a failure.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stayed out here, man, and I had to figure out things. I didn't know anything. I'll give you a story. I was working with this guy. He was a Greek fella, and he owned this fruit mart. And I've been working there for about 2 or 3 weeks. And he said, hey, listen, I got to get out to the pier. I got to get all these fruits. He said, just set up the display for me. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I didn't know how to think for myself. Now, I saw the display, but I didn't know how to replicate it.
Yep.
So he came back like an hour later. He's like, I thought I told you to set up the display. And I just broke, dude. I literally broke down crying, man. Here I am, a 30-year-old man. And I said, I just don't know how to do it, man. And he sort of just looked at me, and I could tell he had experience in life.
Yeah.
And he just brought me over. He said, hey, listen. He said, you're an athlete, aren't you? He said, you just do what you're told. Mm-hmm. He said, no problem. And he just took me through it. From then on, he just taught me how to do it. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know how to think for myself, man. So then I went overboard. Like finding myself. This is when I was listening to Eminem and DMX and, bro, I'm going to do this. And so I went overboard in being demonstrative in how I was being and how I was going to be honest. And I'm just going to tell you, be brutally honest, and how I was going to be like that. And then I became this person that was like, just socially, people didn't want to be around me. Mm-hmm. People were scared. I was like this lion that people wanted to pet, but at the same time, they didn't know if I was just going to lash out and be on top of them.
Yeah.
And I went through that for like 2 or 3 years. And then a good friend of mine, I just noticed how people were around me. They were just really nervous. And they were just disingenuous in how they were expressing themselves. And I was just like, what's going on with that, right? Mm-hmm. So I called up a good friend of mine. I said, listen, man, don't sugarcoat this for me. He said, and I asked him. I said, and I hope this is going to go across on your podcast.
Go man.
I said, am I an asshole, man? And he just had a pause for a minute. He goes,
another pause. Another pause.
I was like, oh.
When you ask a question and there's a pause, you're like, nah.
It was a total pause. I was like, oh. Yes, I said, man, just be honest. You could be honest with me, man. And he says, Mike, man, he said, no offense, man. He said, you're one of my best friends. And he said, Mike, man, when you come in sometimes the air just gets still. And I was just like, in what way, man? Explain that to me. And he said, people got to be careful with what they say around you. People got to be careful about how they are around you. They can't just relax. And that's how I was when I was in America, man. That's just how I was. And so from then on, I got some counseling. Like I had anger management, man. Like I was going through so many things because Australia, even though it's in a English-speaking country, is so different from America. You would think they'd have a lot of similarities, but man, they are vastly different. The diversity is thick. So I was going through a lot of emotions trying to figure things out. And so how I did that, I just went to the counseling and I just learned that what you think, other people don't think. I thought everybody had to think the way I thought. Because when you're on a team, everybody thinks the same way.
Yeah.
My father, I thought I had to think the same way he thought. My friends, I had to think the way, so that just all brought it down to me. So that's when I got into fighting. Yeah. That's when I got into, everything sort of led into where I am now. Yeah. And fighting was a big thing because I thought I was tough. I'm Mikey McDaniel, man. Shoot. What's up, boy? I had my first fight. Man, I knew I was humble pie. Humble. I remember the first guy I fought, man, this guy named James Smith. Yeah. Looked like a wolf man. Yeah. Smelled like a wolf man, too. It was crazy. And he was just, here I am. I had just full of muscle, man. I was like, I was jacked. Never need steroids, just creatine, baby, creatine. That's the thing. Yeah. So I had my first fight, man, and I lost him in 3 rounds. I carried him to 3 rounds. He was a veteran for 5 years. This is my first fight. Yeah. But I just knew I wasn't as tough as I thought. And my trainer said, it's not about being tough. It's about being trained. And that's relevant to everything in life, man. I feel like when you're trained, no matter what challenges you're trying to navigate, the experience that you get, plus the training that you have, eventually you're going to succeed. So that's where I am now. That's that, man. Yeah, and basketball, track and field, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, boxing, all of that. Sports has really formed who I am now. Now I'm into reffing. Yeah. I can add that. I can add those tools to that.
For sure. And that's why I want to chat to you about you today and tie in a bit of reffing, but because at the end of the day, better people will make better referees, better people will make better basketball players, better people will make better, as you said, I know you said on social media the other day, you were like, basketball and sport is a microcosm of life. Yes. And so when you can take care of yourself in life, that will ripple into these other areas. Yeah. And I feel like when I'm around you, I feel like I can tell that you've put in work on yourself and you've gotten yourself to a point where you can show up as a really positive influence on everyone around you. And so I guess that's why I'm kind of diving into this aspect as well, so that people listening can understand that listening to your story can help them be better referees through helping themselves and being inspired as well. So
yeah, I mean, I saw we were on with David Goggins the other day.
Did you see that?
Oh, man.
Let's go.
And there was a little bit of a reply in communication where they said, "Oh man, David Goggins got to meet you." Yeah. And I thought that's actually true. He would have got something out of your positive vibe, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's David Goggins, but you're who you are too. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I chased him down in the bathroom, man.
That's cool, man. I hope he washed his hands.
He was like, his hands were washed. Yeah, man. He was like, "Oh, you took the hustlers route, huh?"
Yes, that's it. Gotta do what you gotta do. And that's relevant to all life, man. Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do. You can't worry about what other people think, man. If you did that, you'd never get out of bed.
Something struck me what you said before, and I think it's important just to consolidate. Yeah. When you said that you didn't know how to think for yourself, yes. And so when you came across a problem, you were like, "I don't know," and I can relate to that personally. I remember a time, man, when I just I think I was on my P's by this point. I was on my P plates, right? Yep. As a driver. Yep. And I'm pulling up to the fuel station. And I'm like, get out my phone. "Hey, Mom, which fuel does this do? Is it unleaded or is it diesel? Or is it the green one or is it yellow one or is it the black one?" And in that moment, my stepdad actually,
hilarious.
he said something, and my stepdad just gets straight to the point. I don't know him super well, but besides the point, he's pretty just brutally honest. Yeah. And he was just like, he kind of had a laugh at me. He was like, "Are you kidding me, bro? Like, what are you, like, can you not do anything yourself?" And I was like, at that moment, I realized I need to stop saying I don't know how to do everything. Yeah. And I had to take responsibility for figuring it out myself. And since that day, I reckon, I don't think when I've come across a problem, I don't think I've one time said, I don't know. Yeah. Straight up and just gone straight for help. Even in my workplace right now, I take the initiative to give it a go, try and solve the problem. If That's I can't, exactly right. then go seek help. And I think a big shift in that, I noticed in young kids, in young referees as well, and this is advice to young refs at the same time, is even when we're educating referees out on the court, oftentimes we'll give them some advice or we'll ask them a question. That's the first thing they say, it's like a habit, is I don't know how. Yeah. And I think automatically, as soon as you do that, you shut yourself off to the possibility of figuring it out.
That's right, because you're waiting for an answer.
Exactly. Yep. And switching that I don't know mindset into like how can I? That's right. I think that was pretty powerful for me. Yep. And yeah.
I can see that about you too. I can see that about you. You want to go out and get the root causes of what's real and what's not real. Yeah. You know, that's what sort of vibed between us. Yeah. You know, we always sort of being able to talk about situations that we could add our own experiences into, and I think that's why we come together.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. We always have good chats.
Yeah, we do, man. It's like, and we don't have them often enough.
For sure.
I'm not around intelligent people. Trust me, man. I have people that just regurgitate the same. I have the same. It's like Groundhog Day. Yeah. Every day with people. What's up? How you doing? What's up? How you doing? What's up?
It's the same thing, right?
Oh, it just drives me crazy.
Me too. Yeah. So having the same conversation with the same people, same day.
That's it.
And it's the same answers too.
That's it. Exactly. I can't stand it. Yeah.
It's like, how are you, man? Like, how are you?
That's really.
It's like, good. I didn't just ask it for the sake of asking. Like, tell me how you are, man.
You ever do that? And like when people start talking, then I'll look them in the eye and say, and? Yeah. And they don't know what to say. They're like, oh, you really want to know how I'm doing?
You actually care?
Yes, I do. Let's sit down. Let's have a coffee. Let's have some conversation.
Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that with me. Hey, I just want to sidebar real quick. I don't know if this is going to be completely irrelevant or not. Yeah. But I remember you and I were chatting in the Clippers locker room, Australia Day Carnival.
Yes.
2018.
I remember this.
19.
Yep.
And I remember we had, I think it was the year Kobe passed.
Yes.
And I remember we had a chat.
It was the morning of.
It was the morning of.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm interested that you remember this. It's cool.
Yes.
And I remember we were
You're memorable, brother. You're remarkable. You're a remarkable person.
Appreciate you. But I remember we were having this conversation, contemplating life and its life's, like how it can be taken away from you.
Yes.
So quickly. And I remember you telling me, you were like, man, like this is why I show up in the world. Like this is why I'm just all in. Like every day is a new opportunity, And you come out with such positive energy. And you said something. And you said, man, I wasn't supposed to be here. Like I shouldn't have been here a long time ago.
That's right. And I'll delve into that. So 1993, I was watching HBO. Like in America, everything's about culture, about your music, about the movie. So I was watching HBO, and they said the average age for an African American that he would die is 22 years old. Average age. Here I am at 21, right? Or no, I was 23 at the time. And I'm thinking, wow, I've outlived my average age. Yeah. And then I just, in 2020, I guess, I looked it up. It's 25 now. So it's gone from 22 to 25. I've lived a crazy life, man. I know how I am now. It's almost like that thing. It's almost like that series, How I Met Your Mother. Yeah. Like the children just don't understand what their parents were like when they were younger. Yeah. And how I was I was reckless. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I didn't care. I was thinking, I'm going to die at 35. Yeah. Shoot, I might as well just do whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And then next thing you know, you're 35. Then you're 36. Then you have children. Yeah. Well, I got to make sure I stay around. And that's what was happening. So now I'm positive because everything and here's the thing. When you talk about God, people kind of go, oh my gosh, here we go. I don't want to talk about this. But if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here. Do you know what I mean? But I have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I have a purpose. I have a mission. It's almost like.
Yeah.
And my mission is to show that if you live right and you're positive, not only can you do things for yourself, but you can do for everybody else around.
Yeah.
Because people need that positivity.
For sure.
I don't wake up like this every day. But when I come in, like Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage. Sometimes I don't feel it. But it's like when I think about it, I get the chance to referee these young bloods. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get to referee the young talent that's coming up. When I see him on TV, it's like, I got to referee that kid.
Yeah.
I know this kid. I know that woman.
Yeah.
And I got to referee with this guy, with that girl. That's a privilege.
Yeah.
To wake up is a privilege. What, 10 million people died this morning?
Yeah, man.
Had plans, had people who love them. I'm here. And when I come to ref you, I'm going to give you the best game possible, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you that energy. And I'll tell you what, it's happened. Kid walks in, he's like, oh, man, putting on his shoes. Oh, we got to play a game today, man, you know. And I'm like, young blood. I said, you ready to play some ball, boy? And they look up like, yeah, I am. Hell yeah. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what you're here to do. If you're not doing that, shame on you.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a fact, man.
Is it going all right, though?
Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Love it. Love
Good,
it.
man.
Really appreciate you, like, sharing, like, so vulnerably as well, and just being honest.
Yeah.
I think that's important, man. Like, too many people lie in order to keep the peace, or they don't tell you how it is. Just like your mate. Like, when you said your mate, like, told you you're an asshole, like, when you asked him, am I an asshole? And he was, thank goodness for him, man.
Yes.
Like, thank you for being honest.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I think it's so important as a good friend and a good person. Maybe you can put it forward to them in a way in which they can receive it. Like, you don't want to just tell them you're an asshole. Like, they'll straight away, like, get defensive and be like, nah.
Yeah.
But, like, if you can be like, hey, look, man. Like, when you're in the room, like, the air is still. It's like...
It is.
It's like...
Yeah.
And when you can receive that and go, man...
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
But I knew that. That's how my father was. Like, my father was the greatest man on earth as far as I'm concerned. You know what I'm saying? But he was human. And he carried on a lot of his... the way he was raised, he carried it over into, you know, how we were raised. And in the end, some of the things he regretted, some of the things he was happy about, but... He was a good provider. He was a good man. He was protective. He was everything he was supposed to be as a father. But when he came into the room, it was almost like I was Luke Skywalker and he was Darth Vader. He could be at the other end of the house, and he'd come in. I'd be like, Father. You know what I mean? Like, I knew he was there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He just had that. I mean, the man could raise a roof with his temper. Do you know what I mean? But as much as he could be angry, his love was thicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I revere him. You know.
Yep.
So but that's how I was, and people just need to understand that when I'm coming in to a situation, I'm coming in to really get to know you. Like when I ref, I try to make sure I get to know the refs. Like as a crew chief, how can you just come in and you don't get to know anything about the people that you're reffing with? Sure. You're just going to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
How are they going to respect you?
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So I say, hey, what's up, Nate? How you doing? What's up, boy? What's your background? So then when we come in at the timeouts, it's like, what's up? Okay. And then we talk about what we need to talk about. But that's what I'm trying to come in as, because that's what I did as a player.
And that's leadership right there.
I think
and
I'm trying to do it.
You are.
Yeah.
You are, literally. Yeah. Like, just by the way you behave, like, out in the stadium, like, in life. Yep. That's leadership right there. Yep. Because I wouldn't have you on this podcast if you didn't have something that I believed, I guess this is subjective, but something that I believe that you can provide to assist everyone else. And that's leadership, straight up.
Man, Nate, I can dig that. I can dig it. I can dig it, baby.
I love it. All right, man. I'm going to shift it over slightly.
Yes.
And I want to... It's still going to be a little bit psychological. We'll see. Now, I wrote down something that you wrote on social media the other day. Okay. As like a quote.
I love that you do. Not many people like I think sometimes people switch off to my Facebook stuff, man. But I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're all right, man. I love it because, well, when I see your post, man, most of the time it's something that's really inspiring. And when you said before, also when you said, when I start talking about God and stuff, people go, oh no, like. I had this situation come up with my own life, like not too long ago. I go and see a counselor sometimes, someone that I have really good rapport with, and we just chat it out, whatever.
Yes.
And he said this to me not too long ago. When I started chatting about something that I believed, I would, before I started to talk about it, I would say, it's kind of weird, but I believe X, Y, and Z. Yes. And he's like, dude, stop treating your beliefs like they're not valid. And he's like, if you believe it, own it. And you are allowed to believe what you want to believe, and that's valid. And I love that you show up as yourself on social media. If you were posting anything else, you wouldn't be being yourself. No, it
wouldn't be true.
Exactly. And that's what I appreciate about you.
Thank you.
And when I see your posts, it never ever have I looked at your post and gone, I feel a little bit worse than before I read that.
Oh, good.
It's always like, you know what? Yeah, I feel good.
I do try to make people think. I do try to evoke something that's going to trigger somebody to try to be better than they are right now. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm trying to do.
That's what it's about.
Some people take it in a negative way, and who do you think you are? And I wish they could get to know me. Like, I wish I could really sit down and just get to know everybody. Like, I think I'm getting ready to do some things like public speaking.
I love that.
Going into schools and just talking to just people in general. That I was just like one of those kids that there's this guy named Barry Dorsey, and he came in, and I was in 3rd grade, and he was a basketball player. He was amazing, and I used to go to his basketball games, and he used to dribble between his legs and behind his back, and just look back at the defender, and he was amazing. And he came in, and he talked to us. I was in 3rd grade.
What?
Do you know, he affected me in that way. I want to affect people that don't think they can do it. I want to make sure that they know they can do that. Because who are we? Two hands, 2 legs, a heartbeat, an ambition and a dream. And to me, God to lead us.
Yeah.
If you have that, you can do anything, like anything. That's what I'm trying to do with this reffing too.
For sure.
Ooh, I had a bird. I'll tell you what, when I first started, people told me I couldn't do it.
Right.
There's no way, you're too old, Michael. They're not going to look at you. You're 40. I was 47 when I started. Same thing with...
Looking like 27.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's like cocoa butter, baby. But the same thing happened with reffing. Same thing happened with MMA. Same thing happened with basketball. Same thing happened with track and field. People always telling me what I can't do. Thank you. I thank those people. And sometimes I got in touch with them, not to be a smart ass, like, look what I did. I actually thank these people. I call them up. And they'd be like, Mike, man, I actually saw you on Facebook, man. And I say, man, you're part of that. You're part of the reason I succeeded. And I'm not calling you to say, I'm calling you to say, thank you, brother.
For sure.
Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for being that peer that you didn't know you were pushing me to greatness.
For sure.
Thank you.
And like we were talking about before this podcast even started, I think the other part of it, you said like sometimes you put stuff out on social media so people will think.
Yes.
They don't have to agree with you,
yeah.
But if they can look at it and it can provoke their thought and they can put it through their filters of their own mind and discern whether they want to believe this and they want to think about it. First of all, having an open mind and being able to receive it and see if it fits right for them is a skill in itself. And then use critical thinking skills in order to figure out whether you want to adopt that.
Yes.
I think that's important, and I think the way that you provoke people's thought online is important like that as well. And people need to take it this way. People don't need to take it like you're throwing shots at them. People need to take it like, you know what? If you don't dig what this one is, just scroll past it, man.
That's it.
And then if you dig it, like the next one, maybe the next one will hit, and you'll be like, oh man, I need to look in the mirror because that's a fact.
But I think more people dig what I'm saying than people will like. They might scroll past it, but it
like me, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes I chuck a little like on there,
yep.
But sometimes I sit there and I read it, and I'm like, I like that.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's good. But anyway, we'll move on a little bit. So back to the quote that I wrote down from what you wrote online.
Yes.
I think we can help some refs in this way. So what you wrote is, so it's a society thing that starts as soon as parents wake their kids up. The values, morals, and scruples that we've set up for society, well, basketball and sport in general is but a microcosm of life, and how we deal with sport is usually how we deal with life. And then you said, it all starts from within and projected outwardly.
Yes.
Now, my question for you is, what are some things people can do to start working on themselves within so that they can project more positivity, compassion, all of that stuff outwardly so that they can help themselves, but then by helping themselves, everyone around them as well?
Well, the day starts off with what you're ingesting. Do you know what I mean? Like, get up and have some water, man. Get up and don't get on your media. To me, I get up and I pray. Do you know what I mean? I get up and I eat good foods. I stop listening to what the world is, and I listen to myself. I listen to my own heartbeat. I get up like when my house is set up, so I have a veranda, and I get up about 4:00 in the morning. The sun gets up about 4:45. I'm like, "What's up, guys?" You know? And I just get up and I absorb that sun. I absorb water. I absorb everything. And you sort of just see how the world's going to be. The world lets you know as soon as you get up, you can feel the energy. Whether, something bad's happening today, or there's, a good positive vibe happening today, or it's going to rain, you can smell it, or if it's going to be a hot day, we're in tune like that. I'd say if you're going to improve, then start with those basics, right? You're a human being, right? You feel things. Start with your emotions and how you feel. People are like, don't get into your emotions so much. But if you don't know how you feel, then how do you know how you're supposed to get through the day and how you're supposed to navigate? They're one and the same. I just feel like people need to get to know themselves from the start of the day. Yeah. And then people have to understand, all the world's a stage. You're going to have different faces that you have to have during the day. That doesn't mean that you're not being real. That just means that you're addressing the different facets of life that you have to come upon every day. Yeah. But then you always have to have that center core, which is you, that nobody can ever affect and nobody can take away. And once you get to that, it takes experience. Yeah. It takes, because you lose yourself. You're always trying to be what everybody else wants to be. You're going to say what everybody else wants you to say. And then you go, don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. Say what you feel, Mike. Yeah. And once you get that, you're going to be okay. But then it takes experience and it takes repetition. Repetition is the mother of all skill. Right. So the more you learn to be yourself, the better you're going to feel. And the better you'll get through life.
I like that, man. It sounds like the common theme. You summed it up really well. But it sounds like the common theme was just kind of almost... Because when you said, when you wake up, start ingesting everything, become present, because you were talking about the smells and what's going to happen today, and actually be with your own mind for a second rather than always consuming and distracting. Yep. And you also mentioned that you also have to sometimes look at your own feelings. A lot of people, man, very, very... And it's tough. It's tough. Like, no, not trying to knock anyone. It is tough to look at your own demons and look at them in the eye and decide that you're going to be able to live with them and make them your friends, I guess, or not, use them as fuel, whatever. But you can't just keep shoving them away and distracting yourself your whole life. Yep. I think that's a big problem with why people in everyday life can't express themselves and they can't handle their own emotional baggage, and they're reactive to situations.
I feel like this too is like, the more you look at yourself, then you understand what you look like to other people. Do you know what I mean? That you understand what you are putting out as far as energy. So you have to look at yourself in the mirror. And I even practice, like, because I used to have a scour about me. And that's why people are just like, hey Mike, hey, how you doing? So now what's up, man? How you doing? What's going on? They're like, oh, what's up, Mike? How you doing? What's up, Mike? Yeah. That's the Mike they want. Yeah. Even if I don't feel like I said earlier. But that's what I want to project, because you can change your mind. The amazing thing about human beings is you could be down in the doldrums, man. You could be in that funk, but you can change your mind and be positive. And as soon as I'm like that, as soon as I come out and what's up, man? How you doing? I changed my whole perspective. And then I forgot what was I, actually negative about. Yeah. That's what you got to do. That's the habit that you got to form. You can get yourself out of any problem.
I like that. And it's good you speak to it. You spoke to my next question already, but what I was going to say...
We're in sync, baby. I'm telling you.
I'll mention what I was going to say anyway, because then we can just use that answer and chuck it on the end of this one. I was going to say, like, the reality is, no matter how idealistically we want to believe that everything's going to go well and everyone's going to be positive and happy, there's the reality is there's going to be haters. There's going to be disrespect on the court as a referee and in life.
That's it.
Violence. There's going to be negativity.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what kind of realm you're in, but even for the referees who wanted to be reffing, take it as on the court. When you're reffing, people are still going to hate you, even if you try and teach them to respect you. People are going to be disrespectful. And what I was going to say is, obviously, these external circumstances are outside of our control.
Yeah.
Right? So what my question to you was going to be is, what can we as individuals do to fortify our minds so that these uncontrollable inevitabilities don't affect us and we don't get consumed by it and get dragged down? Is there anything more you want to speak to that? Or is it the same thing?
Of course.
Yeah, go for it.
What I've learned is that it's never what happens, it's how you respond. As a referee, you have what happens, and then you have your call, which is the response.
Mm-hmm.
And how you deal with the players and how you deal with the coaches, it all falls under that umbrella. It's never what happens, it's how you respond.
Mm-hmm.
And as a referee, I always come in as a basketball player. If I had known that when I was younger, if somebody had said that to me, somebody said that to me when I was about 44, 45, and it just opened up lights. Something would happen, I'd be like, hey, how am I going to respond? I never thought about that. It was just, I thought being a passionate person and just being emotional, and that's me, man. You know, when the ball goes out of bounds and I don't get, No. And then the more I'm just like reserved, then I don't waste that energy. Because when you're, you only have a certain amount of energy in a day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're pouncing about and you're emotional about this and you're emotional about that, no wonder at the end of the day, I was just so exhausted.
Yeah.
But I did that to myself. So my thing is like, I just try to respond in kind. Mm-hmm. That's life. Respond in kind. Mm-hmm. But when it's emotional, take your emotional self out of it and just be pragmatic.
Yeah.
But that takes a while because when you're young, you have emotions. All you have is your emotion. You're basing everything on emotions because you don't have the experience to really look back on.
Yeah.
So everything's emotional.
Yeah.
But when you do have the experience, you can take the emotion out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least, I hear what you're saying. Or at least when you have that emotion, be able to kind of become aware that it's coming up, kind of acknowledge it, and then choose not to choose violence. Choose the right outcome. So you're like, man, I'm feeling a lot of anger coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of bursting out and abusing someone, I'm going to take this anger and I'm going to make it fuel me to be able to go to work harder and to push myself. Like if you're on the court, I'm going to get to the baseline every time. Like this player, like, I'm ready.
Yep.
If you're playing, it's like, I'm going to dive on the loose ball.
That's right.
You know, use it to fuel you and it can send you far. Like anger and like being mad is a strong fuel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a sustainable fuel. I don't think people living in anger for their whole life is sustainable. I think that's probably
burn out.
Yeah, we'll burn out. I don't think it's healthy.
No.
However, when you feel anger, I feel like anger is one of the only emotion that needs some sort of an outlet because it stores in your body.
It's fire, right? You can either use to warm yourself or you can use it just to burn the whole place down.
Right.
So you have to use it in the way that you want, you feel is necessary for the situation that's before you. So,
I like it.
Yeah.
We have the freedom to react, to respond, as you said.
Yeah.
To respond.
But I actually use my bad reputation in a positive way because there's some referees that have refed me, and then when I became a ref and they had to ref with me, they're like, "Oh my gosh, how is it going to be as a ref?" And I knew that. I knew that. So I came in and be like, "Hey, what's up, man? I remember you refing me, man. You were even if it was embellishing, never a lie, but it was embellishing. I was like, yeah, you're a good ref, and I really appreciate refing with you. Can't wait to learn from you. You've been in this. I submit. I'm submissive to them." They don't know what to do with that. They're like,
aren't you supposed to be an asshole, bro?
Yeah, seriously, like, they get that gaze like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. And I love that. And then that's where we can have an open dialogue. Yeah. And I can get to know them, and they get to know me. Yeah. And I've broken that ice. That's what that's for.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, next little thing that I took away from something you wrote online. I think this is an important one to talk about because, as you said before, you wish people could just get to know you before judging you.
Yes.
They judge you off your online presence. They judge you off your past experiences, whatever. And that's a part of why I want to talk to you today, because I think people need to know who you are.
Yes.
And not judge you so much. I don't think you're judged a lot, but I think people get scared when people speak their mind and I guess, speak their beliefs and things like that.
Yes.
And if there's a division between what they believe and what you believe, it's like, I don't like you.
Yes.
It's like, come on, man, like, think better.
Yeah.
Be better, man.
Be open-minded, you know?
Be open-minded.
Yeah.
So I guess what I wanted to say is, this is what you wrote. This is a quote from you.
Yes.
You said, "We are all as diverse in culture and religion, but playing sport is a universal language that should transcend and elevate the human interaction between human beings, because everything in life is relevant."
Yes, I believe that.
I love that. And what I want to ask you is, how much judgment do you have towards others with differing beliefs to you?
You know, that's been an experience, and that's been a road that I've gone down from the beginning to where I'm at now. At the beginning, I was very judgmental because I came upon knowledge, and next thing you know, that was the right way, and I know more than everybody else, and I'm enlightened. You go through all of that when you first start thinking for yourself, and you get knowledge that you've never known before, and that opens your eyes up to the possibilities of different realms and diversities of people. Then you think you know more, and then you're just like full on. You're just like, the 100 volume level at people, and they're just like, "Mike, that's too much. You've gone from 0 to 100, and you knew nothing. Now you know everything." Yeah. Then you have to understand that you have to pick your battles. Yeah. Like sometimes the battles that you pick can cost you the war. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was doing with people. And then I had to just learn how to pick and choose when I was going to divulge information, when people were open to it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people don't want to hear from you until they're ready. Until I was ready. That's how I was. Like, hey, don't talk to me. Mm-hmm. I'm good. And then the next thing you know, I was thirsty. I was like, I'm thirsty. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I needed that knowledge. Yep. So you have to. Everything's experience. Everything's relevant in that way. You have to be experienced enough to understand when to interject and when to pull back. Yep.
I like that, man. And now, I guess, just to clarify, when you come across people who are very, let's just say, very atheist.
Yes.
In the basketball community, whatever, and they're not afraid to express that.
Yes.
When you walk into a state championships and you're in a room with 20 people are atheists, 20 people are Christian, 20 people are Muslim, 20 people are, because we're talking diversity in culture and religion. Yep. You got young, you got old, you got egotistical, you got people who are really humble, quiet, loud. Yep. All these people, man, everyone's different.
Yes.
When you walk into that room, do you feel like you have judgment towards them for thinking different to the way you do in terms of your beliefs at times?
Well, I think what you also have to learn over time is discernment, right? So you have people that just have different backgrounds, and a lot of times you can't tell when you walk into a room. Like if I had on a piece of paper and I was going into a meeting and everybody had their different denominations and their different backgrounds, and you knew who was who and what was what. That's not sort of reality, but to answer. Yeah, so when you come into a room, you're never going to know, but you can see people's behaviors.
Right.
You can see people by the energy they give you when they meet you. And I feel like when I come into a situation where I just know that there's going to be extreme diversity I'm always diverse. I do my Sabbath. Yep. I don't referee on a Saturday. I don't play on a Saturday and things like that until sundown. So I'm always going to be different, But so I can't be judgmental to what other people are doing, but I was before.
Right.
I was definitely before.
Yep.
I judged LGBTQ, like people, you look back on my Facebook until I had a situation that involved my family. So it's never real for you until you come across that situation. I don't know if I'll ever be a Muslim. I don't know if I know I won't be a Muslim. I had to get that more quickly. Woo!
gotta snip that little bit, that 3 seconds of this podcast and just post it everywhere. No.
I don't know why I said that, but
I hear you.
Yeah, I'm always gonna be like, I'll always be a Protestant because that's what I believe in. I have the information and I have the background and I've looked it up and I'm comfortable with that, and my life has gone accordingly towards that. But people of different backgrounds, I think the common bond that we all have is that when you meet in a referee, when you meet a basketball player, when you meet in a business, that's what you're trying to get accomplished, right? Yeah. So all those experiences and all those little diversities that you have to be able to come together to bring that, to your achievement, to be able to achieve your goal, that's what you're focused on. Your different backgrounds are not really going to come into any contention maybe until you have a one-on-one or a group dynamic conversation. So that's really not going to happen. So when I come into a situation like that, I just think it's all relevant. I just try to accept people for how they express themselves. If they express themselves as I'm a quiet person, I'll sit back and see if you're quiet. Yep. You say you're a loud person or you're this or you're that. I sit back and see whatever you say you are. Yeah. And then, of course, you're going to judge them based on how they behaved and what they said in the beginning.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. I hear you.
That's always going to be how I come at people.
Yep.
Like if I'm quiet, the quietest person in the room is the person you got to be scared of. Because they get the most information. Mm-hmm. The person that doesn't say anything, that's the person you need to be worried about. The person that goes off and spouts and talks a lot, man, after a while they're just speaking bubbles.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like that picture of the there's like a picture of a lion in a like horse racing, right?
Yeah.
Where they open the gates. Yep. It's like bunch of I don't know, bunch of horses, and then there's a lion. And then all the cages open, the lion's just sleeping there. He's just chilling.
Yeah.
He's like, and then the quote at the bottom's like, I don't need to prove to a bunch of horses that I can be faster than them. Like, just getting caught up in that ego contest is a waste of time. Like, it's a waste of time. Like, why bother? Yeah. And so sometimes, there's danger lurks.
And exactly. And speaking with that, sometimes with religions, they believe, I got like that when I became a Protestant and became a Seventh-day Adventist, that I knew more, right? And then you want to have these debates with Muslims. You want to have debates with, Christianism, Buddhism, and all that, and because you think you're right, mm-hmm. but then they think they're right, mm-hmm. and no matter what perspective you give them, you can never overturn what they think. You're never going to make a man. It takes time to make a man change.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's where I've come to. So I don't come at people anymore. People ask questions. They ask me what I believe. Yep. I tell them. But other than that, I just try to live it.
Yep.
Try to be that example.
Yep.
Because people don't have to ask questions. They can just see how I'm living.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me.
I appreciate it.
I know I went a little bit deep.
No, I appreciate that.
But I wanted to just try and grasp a little bit of it because it's so important, because there's so much, as I've been saying, like, there's so much division in all types of beliefs. It comes down to being on the court and there's like a foul that the ref calls.
Yep.
And the belief that the player didn't think he fouled. Automatically, there's a conflict in belief. Straight up. Right. And the question is, can you live amongst these people who have differing beliefs with you, in peace, really?
Yep.
And I think that's what makes us all human. Like, everyone is so different.
Yep.
Every single person is different. And if everyone believes the same thing, that defeats the purpose of being human.
Well, here's where we come together, though, right? So you make that call, right? So the player's response now, mm-hmm. how's he going to respond to it? He may think that's absolute baloney, man. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to go, hey, good call, man.
Yeah.
I'm playing the game now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what players and refs mm-hmm. and coaches need to understand. This is the game. Then there's the game within the game. Mm-hmm. Don't get mad at the game. Don't get mad at the player. Get mad at the game if you're going to get mad at anything.
Yeah.
But
hate the game.
Here's how everything's relevant. We get new rules every year. Oh, it drives me crazy, right? But actually the rule changes are really good. So don't get mad at the rules of the game. Adjust.
Adapt.
And adapt. AIO, baby. Adapt, improvise, and overcome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what you have to do as a human being, and that's every day.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you make good decisions yesterday, that doesn't mean you're going to have an easier day today. You're still going to have to make more choices and more decisions, right? But it's never what happens, it's how you respond. So play the game. Mm-hmm. Play the game. Because as a referee, we know we make mistakes. Mm-hmm. And so if I make a mistake and I'm like, oh, and I know it, and that player comes up, come on, Mike, man, you're better than that, Mike. Well, I'm going to be like, all right, yeah, I am better than that. You just put my back against the wall, bruh. And I know you, and you're disrespected. So all that comes into, or you can come and be like, you're still a good ref, Mike.
Yeah.
You're still a good ref.
Yeah.
Like, I remember this one fight, UFC. I got to put that in there.
Go.
So Robbie Lawler, right? He was fighting against Ben Askren. Now,
Yep.
Ben Askren had just come over from another organization, and Bellator.
Yep.
And so he was being, everybody wanted to watch him. So he had Robbie Lawler in a headlock, and Herb Jones went to pick up his hand to see if he was still conscious.
Yep.
And it sort of just flailed a little bit. So he called the fight, and Robbie got up and like, what are you doing, man? And Herb just said, oh my gosh. And you could just see Herb was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And Robbie just went up to him and said, hey man, it doesn't matter. You're a legend. You're still a good ref. Mm-hmm. Oh, how good is that? I got goosebumps, man.
Love that, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta know that people. Well, I got goosebumps off that. You gotta know that people are human. Mm-hmm. You gotta treat them in that way. You gotta be like, what if that was me? But that takes experience, because I've gone off. Lord knows I've gone off on refs. Yeah. Oh my gosh, have I gone on refs, and I feel so bad about it.
Yeah.
But now they can see how I am now.
Yeah.
Because some of those people that were refs are coaches.
Yeah.
Some of those people are in administration. Like when I came into ref, people are like, "Oh, let's see how this goes."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's definitely not going to be any scuffles in fights, but we'll see how Mike reacts when a coach comes at me.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches would be like, "Excuse me, sir. Can I speak to you?" But then I was like, "Hey, man, just talk to me." Now they're like, "Hey, Mike, what's up, Mike?" And I'm like, "This is what I saw. Mm-hmm. This is how I feel." All right, and they pat me on the butt, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I appreciate that, Mike. So I'm trying to bring that. Experience to that.
Love that, man. That's powerful, man. Yeah. I love that story you told too.
Oh, appreciate that.
It's it just goes to show that the human side of sport as well. Like even as players, man, like a player makes a mistake. This is the funny thing as well. Like a player makes a mistake, you got a whole team, you got your whole coaches, everyone's patting on your back, saying, you get the next one, bro.
Yep, that's right.
You're a ref. You got people. You got the whole crowd. You got the whole team. You got the coaches. They're all telling you how bad you are.
Yeah.
It's like, where's my love, man? Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna get the next one right. I promise that.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
Give me a chance.
And that's exactly right, though. But here's the thing. Once you show that you can bounce back, you're gonna make a bad call, man. That's just how it is. People are gonna miss layups. I had a player come up to me one time. It's like, Mike, how you missed that call, man? I was like, I don't know, man. Probably the same way you missed that layup, bruh. What's up, man? You know what I mean? And then they started to look at me. They're like, oh, all right, Mike, man. I was like, hey, what? And then they go like, yeah, don't talk to him no more. Yep. But hey, let's have that jargon. Yep. Let's have that dialogue. Let's be witty to each other. Yep. I want to enjoy the game just like you do. Yes. You know what I mean? I'm here to facilitate and make sure that you can have the best game possible. Make it easier for me too. You got a question? Come and be respectful. Like Michael Cacchetti. He is one of the best refs I've ever come across. Him, Carl Roberts, all of them. You're a great ref, that's what I feel, right? The common denominator is if you approach you in a respectful way, you don't have to be like, hey Nathan, I was just wondering, man, what do you think? You don't have to be that way. Say, Nate, man, what's up, man? What's up with the call?
Yep.
That's respectful.
For sure.
And then you'll come and say, hey, this is what I thought.
Yes. I think that's the key to everything, man.
Respect.
I think the respect and the communication. How you communicate yourself is just everything, man.
That's
like,
it.
if you're going to talk to someone in a way where you want to get whatever outcome you want to get, you have to adjust your communication in that way. Like, if you want to actually understand what you did wrong, then you have to ask the question in a way where it can be received, and then you have to be able to acknowledge that and understand it and respond.
That's it.
And the more we can communicate, it's funny, man. The more we communicate with players and coaches, the more they realize that we have more similarities than differences.
That's right.
It's like before we even chat to each other, it's like, what are you doing, man? Come on, like, get the call. That's a travel, that's a foul. And then wait, after we come and have like a chat for like 2 minutes, it's like, hey man, my name's Nathan. What's your name?
Yes.
My name's John.
Yes.
Look, man, I'm gonna do my best out today. Do my best out there today. Hope you have a good game.
Yeah.
If you have questions, come ask me respectfully. More than happy to answer you.
Right
and
from
then
the beginning.
Follow through on that. And when they come at you, understand that they are in a fight. Mm-hmm. They're in a game.
Yep.
And they're gonna come at you.
Yep.
And you don't take that personally, like they're taking a dig at you.
That's right.
They're trying to win their game. They're playing with passion.
That's right.
And we as refs need to drop the walls and be like, hey man, what's up? Like, I see you're frustrated. What do you want to know? They'll be like, man, you just keep calling the same illegal screen call. I'm like, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's that one that's happening down at the free throw line all the time. Yeah, no, what your big's doing, man, is when your big sets the screen, his feet are real wide, and then the defender's tripping over him, and that's why it's a legal screen. And then the coach will be like,
there we go.
True. All right, well, thanks for that one, man. And then he goes and tells his player, yo, get your feet in, bro. And then he gets his feet in. You don't call it. He'd be like, go back to that coach. Be like, that was way better. He said perfect screen. Didn't have to call that one.
Yep.
And then when the coach comes at you about a call that you made wrong, and you did make it wrong, you're like, look, man, you might have a point on that one. I'm not sure. I'd have to see it again. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to refocus towards the next call.
Yeah.
And, we could chat. We could go back and forth all day about who's right or wrong.
Yep.
But it's not about that. It's about saying, that's in the past now. For the next play, I'm going to be ready.
Yep.
And the next time this situation comes up, I'll be ready for it. I didn't see that one. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
And that's what people need to understand about coaches and players. We're emotional.
Yeah.
It's an emotional thing. You go through a whole lifetime in one game. The anxiety before the game, the looking forward to it days before. Like you make a mistake, you go through sadness, you go through happiness, you go through elation, you go through all of it. So you need to understand that referees need to be able to relate. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily have to play at the highest level. That's the biggest competition thing that I have now is that, I think what people say is like, I think I'm better because I played at a higher level now. That's just going to relate to reffing at a high level, which I thought it did, but it really doesn't. Because repetition is the mother of all skill. You have to actually go back to the bottom. It's like Michael Jordan when he went to baseball. He thought he could just start at this level. Yeah. You have to start at the basement and then move up in your executive ways. Yep. That's what I had to do with reffing. But that's what I'm trying to say, that we have to have the ability to relate. Yep. And you just take the emotions out of it. We have some really good refs. I'm not going to name any names, but we have some really good refs, but they're so mechanical, so robotic. I'm doing everything by the book. You don't relate. And that's why players don't want you. Coaches don't want you. Exactly. And other refs don't want you. Because if you can't relate, if you have a 3PO and you have one person that can't relate, it's really a 2PO trying to carry a third person.
You're right. That's a great point you make.
Yeah.
I think that is a common denominator amongst referees who are liked and that don't come across a lot of conflict on the court and can diffuse conflict well.
That's right.
Because they approach it from a human aspect. It's like, you're having emotions like a human. I'm not going to approach you like a robot that's emotionless then.
Yep.
I'm not going to regurgitate some verbatim rule out of the book.
Yeah.
You're not going to understand that. I'm not going to start talking to you in technical terms. I'm just going to come up to you and just tell you how it is, like it is.
Exactly.
And I'll just be like, hey, like, whatever.
That's right.
My name's Nathan and I do funny stuff. And that's who I am.
Yeah, you have to be that way. You have to be that way. I've gone up to, and even after games, man, right? I'll go up to a coach and I'll say, you know what? That call at 3:54 in the second quarter, you questioned it. I said, I absolutely got that wrong. I am sorry. I absolutely, but I can't say that now at that time. I said, but you were you know how much they appreciate that?
Yeah.
They just.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you just wait a minute? They look at their other coach, and did he just say that he was man, give me one. They shake your hand and be like, man, that's why they want you as a ref. They want the ability to relate is something that we've had since we were a baby. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to relate. If you can't relate, then you cannot be a part of society, basically, because you're always going to be outcasted because you can't relate. So what do? You have to be able to do the things to relate. If you're a basketball player that's never played the game of basketball, then how can you ref? Mm-hmm. You don't know the emotions. You can be empathetic, but you can never sympathize.
And the thing is, everyone innately can relate.
Yeah.
It's what we put in the way of ourselves that makes us unrelatable.
Yeah.
That's what I would say to that, because it's funny, man, because how do I want to go about this? People aren't unrelatable by nature. By nature, everyone's a human being.
That's right.
who has human emotions and talks like a human and does quirky things like a human does. And if you're authentic, automatically you're relating by being different.
Yep. And being who you are.
Being who you are. So relating doesn't mean changing your personality to match someone else. Right?
Preach, brother.
Relating, being able to relate is about not putting gunk in the way of your mind and saying, I need to be this way and this way and this way. That makes you less and less relatable the more masks you put on your face.
This is why I vibe with you, man. You get it. You know what I'm saying? This is why when I came to you and I was like, man, I noticed from the very beginning, you're different. You know what I mean? Like in your era, in your generation, you are one. You like Django, baby. You like 1 in 10,000.
Everyone is, man. I don't know, man. Well, I appreciate it. I'll receive that.
But those are the particular reasons why when you say stuff like you just did, your generation doesn't really talk like that, bro. And I'm not putting your generation down. Yep. They're just not. You know who you are. Man, pass that around, brother. Pass that around. That needs to go around.
That's what I'm trying to do, man.
Yeah.
And that's why we're having this conversation right now.
Yep.
And, we can only do what we can.
Yep.
Hopefully there's little ripples that turn into big ripples and turn into waves. And
well, you're definitely necessary, brother.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
What I was going to say to what you said before, man. When you took responsibility for getting a call wrong and you said to the coach, like, hey, man, I actually got that wrong. By taking responsibility for your mistake, that's going to empower them to take responsibility for their mistake. And they're going to be like, look, man, you owned up to taking responsibility for your foul. We're going to take responsibility for our fouls. And it's just like, it's this ripple, man. And someone has to be the bigger person in order to say it at the start. And someone has to, and it's going to be the ref, man. It's got to be you. If you're a player listening, it's you. If you're a ref listening, it's you. If you're a coach listening, it's you. It starts with you being the change. And it's going to flow out from there.
Brother, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. You know the thing that I'm getting to, and I think what every referee, every basketball player, any workmate, when you show up and they're just like, oh my gosh, he's here. You reffing our game? Nate, you reffing our game, baby? Yeah. Oh man, we got this kid, man. Oh, dude, thank you. Because right away, that just sets them in their mind. We're going to have a great game. We have a chance to express ourselves. That's an expression. Basketball is an expression.
Yeah.
You know, I used to love working on my game and be in the papers of big games and things like that, walking in the stadium and people just glaring at you and stuff like that. And it's an expression. So you want to be able to express yourself on a dunk. You want to be able to express yourself after you block a shot or steal or whatever. The crowd engages with you. You and crowd, engage with the crowd. It's all an expression. So when you come to that game, man, to be able to relate, understand all that, that's what they feel about you. That's what they feel about me. Then I'm going to give them the ultimate opportunity to express themselves through the game that we both love, bruh.
Love that, man. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. That's what we're here for. Well, I'm a man of service, man. I'm a man of service. I've been a man of service, particularly probably for the last 5 years, man. I don't want nothing in return. I'm here to serve the game. If you're a player, you're here to serve the game. If you're a coach, you're here to serve the game. If you're a referee, you're here to serve the game. You are not there for your own benefit. I'm going to tell you something, man.
I hear you, bro.
I got 8 awards last year.
Dude, I was going to get to this,
Thank you.
I was going to get to this, bro.
How? Here's the thing. I didn't try to do it. I didn't go for that. I just enjoy reffing. Refereeing gave me a chance to buy new suits, wear new clothes, show up, and I'm somebody. I'm a referee. When I show up and they can see that I'm in a tie, they know I'm here to do what's best for the game.
Yes.
Michael Wiggins, man. I learned that. Love that guy, man. So refereeing, in essence, man, it gives me the ability to be able to be myself.
Yes.
I can't play no more, but I can ref. And I can take those experiences, and now I can make those experiences the best way for everybody to be able to shine. I want everybody to shine.
Yes.
So I'm here to serve the game.
That's it, man.
You know, so the spectators get what they get. You know, it's an exhibition.
You know what's funny about that, man? That's how you live a fulfilled life as well.
Yep.
Because, and not to sound all philosophical about it, but people who are in it for themselves,
Yes.
they're going to cut people down on the way to the top.
Yep.
They'll eventually get to the top. They'll look down and realize they have nobody that cares about them.
That's it.
And it's lonely at the top when you take the path of me.
That's it.
Lonely at the top. And if you want to, actually, I don't want to say like win life, but to win at life, right? What I'm trying to say is people are losing basketball games.
Yep.
Or people are winning basketball games. People are winning as refs. People are winning as these external like results.
Yep.
But they have no one around them that cares about them.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken the low road all the way up to the top.
Yep.
And that's why I love what you just said before about bringing everyone up. You're serving the game.
That's it.
You're helping others. This is what I love about when I watch you ref too. You go up to your partner and you're helping them. You're helping them and they're helping you.
Yeah.
And you're respectful for everyone and you're trying to help everyone be better.
Yeah.
And that's how you get higher.
But that's what happened this year. And then so next thing you know, I started out last year, like I didn't get any medals in the under 18s. Next thing you know, I got an under 16 SQJBC final. Next thing you know, I got an under 18s SQJBC women's final. Next thing you know, I got QSL semifinal, QSL final. I got into the nationals, and I got a gold.
What nationals you went to?
For the under 18s.
You went to nationals for 18s?
Man, shoot, did somebody give you the memo? Come on now.
Bro,
shoot.
I just be seeing...
I got a gold medal game, bro.
All I'm seeing of you is just award. It's just white noise now. You're just successful, bro.
Yeah, well, and you know, we're going to talk about success in a minute because it's different in everybody's mind.
Uh-huh.
But when the nationals are typically for people who are on the path to go get FIBA and, you know, to be able to go NBL and things like that. So
yes.
The fact that I got in at 53 for people, there's nobody older than like 35. There were 20. I think the oldest guy there was like 29 years old. Right? So I just went there because I know I'm going to be doing NBL 1 women this year, and I want to do the best job possible. I want to be the best I can be, right?
Love that.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to go there. And I didn't care. Next thing you know, I got a gold medal. Like when they announced my name, I was like, because I was just, you know, I was cheering everybody. Like, go ahead, boy. And then when they announced Mikey McDaniel, I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? And I just got up and hugged everybody, man. I felt like I was on an award show or something, man. Yes. It was crazy. And then next thing you know, I did under 18s. Just I got a bronze medal. So then I got referee of the year for Ipswich.
Not to mention the 3 golden whistles.
Yeah, dude, I got those golden whistles.
You got the golden whistles, man.
From the very beginning, I'm just trying to show that I'm not here for myself. I don't care if I never went for those awards. They just happen because I love reffing. Yeah. Like when people see me, they know I love reffing. I want to do what's best for the game. The game saved my life, man. Mm-hmm. I'm a 53-year-old African American that if I didn't have the game of basketball, man, I'd be in prison or I'd be dead. Mm-hmm. Straight up.
Yup.
So my thing is I wake up early. What can I do for somebody else? Because you know what happens? All this stuff comes back to you. I don't do it for that.
Yeah.
But next thing you know, that all the stuff that I put out, and sometimes you get to where you're like, I'm doing so much for everybody else, man. They're just crapping on me, man. They're just crapping on me. And next thing you know, you get a little bit of a golden nugget.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 8 awards in 1 year. I don't know if anybody's ever done that.
Doubt it, man.
You know? But,
I doubt it.
But I want to show that I'm good enough. I'm going to get to the NBL, you know? And
I was going to ask you about that, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
You can speak on it now if you want, man.
Well, here's the thing. And I don't want to blow up the spot. You know, So when I spoke to Vaughn, right? I spoke to Vaughn. Vaughn is the most approachable. Let me just get this out there. He's the most approachable, lovely guy on the phone, man. I don't know why people were telling me, man, don't call him. Don't, man, I wouldn't. I'm like, man, what? How do you sound right now, you know?
Yeah.
So he asked me, he said, where do you see yourself? I said, to me, I always want the top. I want the NBL. He said, Mike, I don't see that happening for you. I see NBL 1 happening for you, but I don't see NBL happening for you. As we go back, everything I've ever achieved, people said I wasn't going to be able to do nothing about it. So I'm like, woo, you just gave me that nugget that I needed, right? You just gave me that fuel that I needed. So coupled with that, I show up in my suits. I don't give a doggone if it was a QSL2 game. I showed up in my suit, bruh.
Yup.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're like, and people are like, Mike, you're overdressed. I'm like, no, you're underdressed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm here to do me.
Yes.
And I'm here to show these people that every game I show up, I'm going to show up in a suit and tie. I'm going to show up looking good. And I'm show up and let you know that I'm here to rep. And that's what's carried on. That's why I got the 8 awards. Plus, I want to speak a little bit about this. So I remember at the beginning of the year, right? And they had the panel 1, the panel 2. And I looked at it and I was on the QSL 1 panel. See, I want to make it so bad. I didn't see the blessing of QSL 1. Mm-hmm. So I called up Vaughn.
Yeah.
What's up, man? He was like, I was like, is there any reason why I didn't get on the NBL 1 panel? Because I had a good NBL blitz. I was, doing really well. Coaches were telling me, Bruce, Palmer, and Stacker, like, oh my gosh, we finally got somebody who understands the game. Not like the other refs. I got to go back. Other refs do understand the game, mm-hmm. but somebody who's played at this level and can relate. So that's why I have to go back because people are going to attack that.
I'm not that popular, bro.
You should be. So then I went and I just said to him, I said, what's going on with the panel? He said, Mike, have you looked at? You're on QSL 1. He said, Michael, I cannot have somebody go from QSL 2 to NBL 1. He said, you're not ready for that. And I wasn't ready to accept that. I can't tell anybody telling me I'm not ready. I'm ready.
I hear you, man.
But what a blessing.
I hear you. Can I interject one thing?
Go ahead, brother.
I feel secure enough to share this these days.
Yes.
Because I feel like I've evolved as a person. I feel like I've got to know myself more.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to put this out there. Very similar to you, man.
Yeah.
I looked at the panels of QSL and I'm impatient for success. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
And
good on you.
especially when in your own mind you feel like you're confident. Let's go.
Yeah.
I looked at the panels, man, and I was on I was on a lower panel to like some of my peers.
Yeah.
And what annoyed me about this was some of those people on the higher panel to me, I outperformed at 18 state champs.
Yes.
And I was like,
I remember that.
I was like, what's up with this? And so, man, I went to someone who was in the NBL 1 panel.
Yeah.
It's just gossip, man.
Yes.
I'm not about that anymore.
Yeah.
I wasn't about it then, but I was so competitive, man. I'm so hungry for it. I literally sent a list of the panels, and I was like, but I didn't show the person I sent it to where everyone sat, and I was like, rank me. I was like, rank me among these refs. And he ranked me, and I went, and all that did was fuel my entitlement. I was like,
that's right.
Stuff this.
That's right.
And
you're learning.
And this person that I sent this to, he has no control over who gets into what panels. This is me just bitching. But I guess I just wanted to vent that out.
Yeah.
But what I realized at that point was in every walk of life, in every challenge, like to get to the top of something,
yes,
you can have... Politics is a part of the game, first of all, and it's part of life. But using politics as a scapegoat is very disempowering to your own ability to get better. And it's just excuses at the end of the day. It is. If you're going to use that as a crutch, you might as well give up now. That's how I see it.
Exactly.
And so I wanted to say that because a lot of people in the referee world have this entitlement and they think they're better according to other people. And people will gaslight them and tell them that they are. And all it does is fuel resentment and make you feel like crap. And it makes you want to cut other people down in order to push yourself up.
That's it.
And when you get on a game with them, you're like, I'm better than you. And it just fuels this division. Prove it. For
you
one.
better. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let your actions speak.
Yeah.
And that stuff's out of your control. There's things you can do to influence it. Like you said, show up to the game in a suit. Show that you want it. Hit up Vaughn and be like, hey, how can I get better? But don't sit there and complain.
That's right.
And complain, or it's over. Yeah. It's over.
So so when I talked to Vaughn, and he said, Mike, you haven't even looked at the panel. I said, look at the QSL1 panel. So that was a blessing. And then what I noticed, right, everybody's jockeying to get on the panel 1, panel 2, but then they don't understand. The season's going to come. You've got to be available to ref. You've got to show up.
Yeah.
And all I saw was people pulling out here, pulling out there. Vaughn, I'll show up to that game. Vaughn, I'm here. I'll do it. Shoot, I did like 25 games last year. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I got the games based on my ability or just on the fact that they were rewarding me for my commitment to reffing.
Doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter.
You got the game.
That's it. And I'll tell you what, that's what I feel where I am going to make it. In every sport that I've ever played, it's not that I'm better. Everybody else just drops off. I keep the same enthusiasm from day 1 to day 100. I dare you to beat me. Beat me. I want that challenge. I want it because I am going to be the best ref I can possibly be. I'm not going to be the best ref that's ever been, but I'm going to be the best ref that Mike McDaniel can be. And if I can do that, I'm going to do what serves the game, bro. I'm going to make the NBO. I have that fire. Nobody's going to stop me. Nobody's going to stop me. That's how I feel.
I love it, man. Yep. That's the attitude you got to have if you want to make it.
Yep.
That's it right there.
I'm here to stay, man. I'm here and I'll outwork everybody.
Yep.
That's how it is. I will. That's how you make it. In life, if you're going to go for something, just be consistent, be diligent, be disciplined, and just wait for everybody else to drop off because they will. Because when they're not getting something out of it, because see, my attitude is to serve.
Yes.
Their attitude is to be served.
Correct. I hear you, man.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
And I can tell that you're congruent in that. What you say is what you do. Because, and everyone can see it.
I wasn't always like that. I grew up and I didn't always follow through. You know, you make those young mistakes, you say you're going to do something, you don't. But there's more integrity. Even if you fail in saying what you're going to do, those people can still look at it. He may have failed, but he did what he said he was going to do.
Yes.
And that's what fighting is too. That's what fighting brought to. Because you know how many times I wanted to pull out a fight? When the closer I got to the fight, you think, oh man, I can't wait. I'm doing all these training.
Yep.
The closer you get to a fight, you think, man, I'm sick. I don't feel good. I got a headache. They'll understand. I'm my pinky finger. Oh my, my bowel movements ain't. Seriously, you go through everything to pull out of a fight, but that's relevant to life. Mm-hmm. People who are studying for big exams. Oh, I don't feel like this. I can't do this. It's all excuses. Once you get past that, once you make a habit of getting past your excuses, there's nothing but success in front of you.
Yes. It's the only way there. It's the only way through as well.
That's it.
Otherwise, you're just going backwards.
Yeah. And I want to touch on success for a second.
Let's touch on success and failure now.
Yeah.
Speak to success. What is success? All that, or whatever you want to say.
See, so to me, Michael Jordan's success. To somebody else, LeBron's success.
Yep.
Somebody else, Allen Iverson's success. But in speaking to what's just occurred with LeBron getting the scoring champion for the NBA right now I feel like to somebody else that's their success because they're such a LeBron fan.
Yes.
But they can't see past their own pride and try to make him the GOAT. Yes. You know what I mean? So in their mind, that's success.
Yep.
In my mind, Michael Jordan's success. You have Larry Birds and Magic Johnson. Everybody has a different. But should you go for what everybody else thinks is successful, or should you go for what you think is successful?
That's the key, right?
That's it.
Because everyone's definition of success is different too.
That's it.
One person thinks when I'm a millionaire, I'm successful.
Yeah.
Another person thinks when I make the NBL, I'm successful.
That's it.
Another person thinks if I work my ass off day in and day out, and I go for my dreams each day, and I'm congruent in what I do my best.
Yeah.
That's successful.
Yeah.
Everyone's different, man.
Yeah.
And
my thing for success is that I know my babies eat every day, whether I'm with their mothers or not. Whether I am a good person every day, whether I am following what God wants me to do every day. See, now when you have those levels, most people say money, power, that's success. But you can lose all of that. But you can only lose respect if you give it away. You can only lose integrity if you give it away.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're never going to give power away. You're never going to give money away. That's always going to be taken.
Yes.
And given.
Yeah, exactly. And most people are rigging their life so that they can be failures because they create these definitions of failure and success that are just completely beyond their control. It's like you cannot control whether you're going to... You can influence these things potentially, but you cannot control, if you're going to get on panel 1 or panel 2. You can influence that, but really, that's Vaughn's decision. That's not your decision.
That's it.
You could be the best ref, and you still could get panel 2.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people rig up life so that they can be failures every day, and I think that's not good. And I think that allows them to come out into life with a lower self-esteem, a lower confidence. But if you can shift your mind, this is how I think about it. I'm not trying to say this is right or wrong. But how I think about it is, if I can, just as you described as success, like make sure your kids eat, make sure you show up as the best person you can every day, you can fully control that. You can show up as your best self every day. And from that, you can be successful.
That's right.
And even I sometimes think about it like, does success and failure even exist as well? Ultimately, it's just a bunch of results throughout life. Like if one team scores 72 points, the other team scores 64 points. That's a result. And then our brains assign losing to the 64-pointer and winning to the 72-pointer. But that's our decision to decide that that's what failure is.
That's it.
Maybe that team had no business going up against the other team, and to get within 10 points, that is a freaking win. That is an absolute win.
That's it.
And heck, and the funny thing about life is there's no end result where it's going to be 72-64.
That's right.
There's no final buzzer until you die.
That's it.
Right? So it doesn't matter if the score ends up being 100-64, 120-64. The game still keeps going. There's not 4 quarters. There's like a whole lifetime. And it's like, keep going, man. Keep going, because no matter how far you get down, like, you could go on a run.
But think about it like this. Success is a structure, right? So most structures their buildings are already built, right? So we're trying to assimilate the structure that was already built before us. Why don't we just build our own structure? And then have people try to...
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Compete within that structure. So the structure I'm setting is high energy, high positivity, and just being able to bring that knowledge base. So all of that is fundamentally supported in everything that I do. That's the basic structure for me. I
love that, man. And no one knows you like you do. And that's why I think that goes back to what you said before about spending time with yourself, being present, trying to understand yourself. That's why when Vaughn said to you, look, man, I don't think you're gonna make NBL. That's not in your future. The only reason that didn't cut you down and go, damn it, there's a ceiling placed on me, is because he doesn't know you like you do.
He doesn't understand that I'm willing to put. He said it might take 5 years, Mike. I said, I don't care if I'm 60. I'm going to love this game. And here's the thing. I've met people who love the game just as much as I do, but there's nobody on this planet that loves the game like I do. I've followed the game.
For sure.
I've sacrificed for the game. I've given up everything for the game. And it's given me everything back. It's cradled me like a baby all my life. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel endeared to it. That's why I feel like I need to give back to the game. And what better way to do it than refereeing young and up and coming? We have some really good talent, man. The best seats in the house. I get every SQJBC, every QSL, and now NBL 1. Have you seen the roster that's coming out for NBL 1 women's?
I haven't.
Woo-wee, dude. It's going to be some good games. I literally wake up when I know I'm getting ready to do a game. Woo, I'm happy, man. I got my suit pressed out, man. I'm saying, so I washed my car. You know, it's an old car, but I still watch it. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
I still try to make it. It's all right. It's my thing.
you're a nice guy,
It's a
man.
great wall. It's all right, man. You know, I do my
I like
thing.
the sun
Oh,
visor,
it's a
man.
beautiful, and it rides beautifully, man.
Nice rainbow parrot or something.
Yeah, that's it. It's a lion.
It's a lion.
That's a lion. You look at it, it's got blue eyes. Too. It's crazy.
That's it.
But no, man. You know, I and the other thing I want to be is I want to be that springboard for other basketball players that can't play anymore and don't think, oh man, I don't want to be a referee.
Mm-hmm.
I had to start at social. But if you're willing to put in the time and do what it takes, like I learned from nothing but the best. Michael Wiggins, Carl Roberts, Jordan Harden.
For sure, man.
You know what I'm saying? Jordan.
Shout out Jal.
Jordan's a great ref, and if she doesn't make NBL, I don't know if I might have to go to the top of a building and snipe somebody. You know, I got to learn from her, Michael Cacchetti, yourself. You pulled me aside. I remember under 18s, you got to educate me a few games. I appreciate that. You got to be willing to be like, okay, empty your mind and like fill it with good people. Fill it with good knowledge, not with knuckleheads that can't teach you anything. There's a lot of knuckleheads and referees that were trying to be, this is how you do it. But yet, you're still at social. You haven't made a rep. You haven't. Yeah. Why would I listen to you? So I listen. I'm not a snob in that way. But
you're right, though.
Yeah. Like Tiger Woods said, if you want to be a champion, and it's probably like Michael Jordan and any other person is a champion, you got to get educated by champions. You got to hang around champions. You got to have their energy and their vibe for wanting to win. You got to want to win.
Yeah.
You know?
I think about this, man. I think about this as like at university as well. Like you walk into, if you want to own your own business,
yes,
you walk into a university,
yes,
and you have a lecturer lecturing you on how to run a business. You ask that lecturer, hey, how many businesses do you own?
Yeah.
They're like, 0.
Yeah.
And you're like, but you're teaching me how to own a business and you've never owned a business? Come on, man. Like, I'm canceling that course. I'm going out and I'm going to learn from someone who's been there.
Now we're going into another area, man. You're going to open up my... This goes to how referees, man. If you're not fit...
Yeah. Yep.
And there's going to be some referees right now that are going to be pissed off from being...
Say it.
You know?
I'm going to snip this and it's going on live.
If you're not fit, how can you ref? You know, I met Bruce Palmer, and like I work out, like that's my lifestyle. You know, just landscaping, tiling. You just never keep any fat on you. Bruce Palmer looked at me, he said, "Finally, in front of a whole bunch of refs, finally we got a ref that actually looks like he's in shape."
Yep.
Now, if you don't look the part, look at Mark Mills, man.
Yep.
Dude, I mean, he's looked like he made of granite. You know what I mean? Seriously.
Yep.
Then you have refs that are out of shape.
Yep.
Now, I'm not putting them down.
Yep.
But come on, man. If you want a better response from players and referees, players and coaches look at me and they know I look in shape. Mm-hmm. I look like I did something. You know, I look like I have somebody able to relate to an athlete. Mm-hmm. Not somebody that's just going to be like, I got picked on all my life. I got a whistle. Now I'm going to take it out on you.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of referees come across because they don't take themselves seriously.
Is true.
You're not taking yourself seriously if you're a referee, got a nice uniform on, but you're out of shape.
Yeah.
Get in shape.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think and it's funny the amount of state champs you go to, and always the question in like the pre-tournament clinic, it's like, hands up if you feel like you prepared for this tournament. Heaps of hands shoot up. Yep. Heaps of hands shoot up.
Yep.
Man, I'm sorry. You're kidding yourself.
Yep.
If you are rocking up to a tournament and you cannot pass the fitness test,
mm-hmm.
that's just commitment. I want to just say that if you're overweight, I'm not judging you at all. I think I still accept you like how you are, everything like that. We can still hang out.
Of course.
I can still, we can be mates, everything. Like I literally have no judgment for people who are overweight. But if you say you want to be a referee and your actions are not matching what you say, then you have a problem.
You're hitting them hard, Nate.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I just want to make that clear. Like, there's a lot of overweight people, and they're my best mates. I'm like, hell yeah, man. Like, if that's how you want to be, you can be like that. But don't tell me you want to be X, Y, and Z and not be congruent in your actions with that.
Yeah, don't tell me, man. You want to be a referee at this level and then coming off like you just came off Camp Krispy Kreme. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that's not the way it is. Keep it 100. Yep. You know what I'm saying? There's a new, what do they call it? Don't keep it 100, keep it a buck.
Keep it a buck.
Because a buck's $1 in America. You know what I'm saying? So keep it a buck.
Yeah.
And that's how you keep it real. Keep it real. Wherever you are, if you know you need, say, I'm not there yet. Just like I know I'm not there as far as an NBL 1 ref. I got so long. I got such a journey. But man, it's like when I get in that car and I was heading up this morning, I'm going to enjoy that journey, baby. I'm going to get bad critiques. I'm going to get good critiques. I'm going to get players and spectators coming at me. I'll be like, hey, I'm enjoying the ride, baby. Yeah. That's how it's going to be. But I'm going to enjoy the ride this year. You watch. Yes. But nobody's honest. You know, when they showed up to the under 18s and they said, who's here for a medal? And there was like maybe 3 or 4 people that I was like in my mind, give me that craziness. Yeah. I didn't raise my hand because I don't like to say that's what I'm going for. Yep. I'm there to get experience. I'm there to get better. And then if my ability affords me to get a medal, then that's what happens. So I prioritize that. But in the back of my mind, I want to do the best I can to get a medal.
For sure.
You know, I want to top it out. Mm-hmm. And now I got something to prove. I got something to prove as a ref. And a lot of people don't like where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? I hear what they're saying. And the same people be like, what's up, Mike? How you doing? Like, Mike, man, shit, he ain't all that, Mike. Mike ain't all that. He ain't all that.
Yeah.
I got 8 awards last year. But, here's what I do. I reset January 1st. I reset. I don't have nothing. I'm going to prove myself as an NBL 1 ref this year, Nate.
I love it. It's good, man. It's great. Whew. All right. You know what, Mike? Let's go through the final finishing segment that I usually do. Still kind of, I don't know, figuring this out. But fantastic. I call it free throws.
Okay.
Because what happens is I'm going to ask you a question. And it's supposed to be short, sharp answers. So you have 5 seconds to answer the question or it's a violation.
Okay. I love it.
We'll see how we go. I tend to be quite lenient with it. So if you want to go on a tangent and probably just do it, like, you know, okay. I'm just a ref. Come on.
I'm a tangent kind of person.
But yeah, let's hit it. I'm just going to smash out some of these random little questions.
Okay.
And then let's go from there.
Let's go. I'm pumped.
Cool. All right. What do you love the most about basketball?
The expectation of it, the anxiety of it. I love the passion of it. Passion, in one word, passion.
Why do you ref?
I ref because I'm passionate about the game and that I have that experience to get those players and the coaches to the next level. I can relate.
Yep, love it. What's the best quality you believe that a referee can have?
To be able to endear yourself.
Endear. Explain.
Well, when you have players that are coming in, they're looking for that relatability, right? To understand where they're coming from. If they're emotional, if they don't understand the rule, if they're at a position of, like the fourth quarter and they've just blurted out an expletive. Right? And I go over and I just say, hey, listen, I understand, but
yes.
Do that.
Got you.
Keep playing. Let's go. Cool. Instead of just giving them a tech.
Yes. I hear you.
Yeah.
I like it. Thank you for elaborating.
Yeah.
What's the worst quality a referee can have?
Being intimidated. Being intimidated. Thinking that every player and every coach is out to get you.
Right.
You know, a lot of times, and you can see it when a coach and a player is approaching the referee, you can just see, oh my gosh, and they get, I'm going to show you, I'm not going to back down to you. And the player and the coach might just have something basic to answer you, but the energy you're giving them off, and they just ask you something simple, and you're like, respect me. Oh, what were you going to ask again? Oh, yeah. My bad. Yeah. You can't have that predisposition. I guess that would be the word. Don't have a predisposition to what the game's going to be or what a player or coach is going to be like.
I like it.
Yep.
Cool. Is there a rule that you dislike?
I always dislike them at the beginning, and then I can see how they add to the game. I love the adaptations, but they don't really give us a time to really implement them. And it's as you go. It's like they make a rule change. Okay, now that's coming. You got to implement it.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I guess more to speak, to end that. I like the new rules. It just takes me a while to get used to them. Yep.
What age did you start reffing?
47. Yep. 47 years old.
This man started reffing at 47.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what. It was just because I wanted to make extra money for social aspects of it. And then people kept saying, "Oh man, it's good to see you reffing, Mike," and da-da-da-da. At first they were making jokes, "Oh, you're going to the dark side," blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then I got good feedback. Like, "Oh man, that was one of the best games ever, man. Keep doing what you're doing." I was like, maybe I could do this at a higher level.
That's inspiring.
And just kept going.
Shout out to everyone who thinks they're too old to ref, right?
That's right. Too old to do anything.
Come on.
That is a choice. Everything is a choice. Everything comes down to a choice. You are good enough. You are bound by nothing. I got that off Good Will Hunting when.
I love that movie.
Yeah. And Robin Williams, right?
Yeah.
He was talking to the young kid or whatever.
Yep.
He said, "You can do anything. You are bound by nothing."
Mm-hmm.
How liberating is that?
Yeah.
You're bound by nothing.
I love that.
Yep.
I got Good Will Hunting quotes in my.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I watched. I watched that 9 times in the theater.
Real?
It came out in 1990. That movie came out in 1997.
Yep.
I watched it 9 times in the theater.
Man, Robin Williams is something else, man.
Yes. Yeah.
Love him.
What a loss.
What
absolutely. Sincere loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any one-liners that you like to use with coaches, players, anything like that, just to kind of fix a situation? Like if someone comes up to you and like asks for a foul or starts disrespecting you, do you have any like go-to statements that you'll use to kind of handle that?
Well, I've taken upon things that I've heard. I don't know if this comes from Carl Roberts or Michael Cacchetti, but is that a question or a statement? That's what That's what I tell them. Are you asking me? Are you stating something, or are you questioning? Now, if you have a question, I can elaborate. If you're stating something, that's just giving me information to maybe something that you're worried about. I can take that on board.
Yeah.
But that's usually what are you stating something? Or you have a question.
I like it. That's cool.
Yeah. I think I got that from Michael Cacchetti.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now you're a fun guy.
I try to be.
You are a fun guy.
Yep.
I feel like you have. I like to ask these questions. So. I feel like you... Let me rephrase. What's the most sassy thing you said back to a player, a coach, a spectator, anything like that, where you were just like, you know what? Stuff it. I'm gonna let it rip on him. And you say something a little bit, passive aggressive, whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it goes on like we were having a little bit of discussion before, and I remember this player, and I knew him well. I think it was in GBL. And he goes, "Mike, you're better than that, Mike. How can you miss a call like that?" And I had enough. It was 8:45. And I'm a witty person. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Especially don't let me get to know you, because I'll just rip you to shreds, because that's just my nature. Yeah. That's how I grew up. And I just said back to him, I was like, "I don't know, man. Probably like you just missed that layup. I mean, it was a clear layup. How'd you miss that?" And he just looked at me and he's just like, "Mike, man." He said, "That's why I like you reffing, man." And he just totally forgot the emotion that he had. Yeah. And I didn't know he was going to do that. I thought we were going to have some more dialogue after that.
Good for him.
But then it brought us together. You know what I mean? So, and as a referee, what stops you from being just as witty as a player? As long as you're not being...
For sure. It's a rapport building opportunity.
Yeah.
Like you can actually develop the relationship through having these human interactions.
That's it. Isn't it a human interaction? It's not just a transaction.
Yeah.
And that's what we look at. Basketball is a transaction. It's always, what can I get out of it? If I'm putting something into it, I need to get something out of it. But it's an interaction. So yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
Well said. Do you have you been booed before by like a stadium of people?
I've been booed, especially in America.
Right.
But not here really in Australia. I got booed as a fighter.
Okay.
One time I
That must have sucked.
Oh man, I beat a fighter I wasn't supposed to beat.
Oh,
and,
that's good boost then. That's come on.
It was his debut. It was his debut.
Oh.
And of course they picked me because I had a terrible record. I mean I had like 3 or 4 losses and no wins, so it wasn't supposed to go down like that. And next thing you know, I don't know if you've ever fought. It's like boom, boom, and it's over, and you're just like, what the hell?
What? And they booed you for that.
And I got the crowd initially cheered, but the people that were backing him, they didn't like, because I was talking about God and things like that. Next thing you know, I was getting booed and da 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 da. And it was if I had came across as like F this and F that and ain't no man gonna beat me and blah blah blah, I would have got the adulation of whatever what people think.
Yeah.
But my first thing was all glory to God and things like that. Next thing you know, I'm getting booed. And, but that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, it's sad, but it's you're mentally fortified enough to be able to handle the fact that some people just aren't self-aware enough. Enough to realize that people are different.
That's right. Well, how I understand that is, Christ came, didn't commit any sins, didn't do anything bad to anybody, and they crucified him. So no matter what good I do in this life, you're gonna have some people who appreciate it, and some people who actually makes you the devil and just have nothing but venom for you.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't take anything personal, because how one person perceives me is going to be different from how somebody else perceives it. Even when they watch this podcast, it's going to be some people like, man, he's just waffling on. Some people are going to be like, I can actually use some of that stuff.
Yep. One of my favorite David Goggins quotes, he goes, there's actually a YouTube video out there, and it's like 10-hour loop of David Goggins saying, "You don't know me, son," and he's doing bench press, and he goes, "You don't know me, son.
That's it.
You don't know me, son.
That's it.
You don't know me." And he just is 10-hour loop of him just going, "You don't know me, son."
I love how when he talks about, and this is so true, and this is how I'm going to be about reffing.
Yeah.
I am relentless, and people hate me because of that. People don't like it because they're not relentless. They want to break. They want to become, okay, I've put enough effort in. I want to break. No. When you take that break, I'm working.
Let's go.
I'm working. And then when you're working, I'm working harder.
Yep.
And when you're working harder, I'm taking it to the next level.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I want to be at the best position I can to affect the game. I want to be an NBL ref. And what can stop me? Who can stop me? My laziness, my procrastination, my excuses. And that's never going to come out of me. I'll do 2, 3, 4, 5 games. And then I'll go home and I'm cramping up at night and I'm just like, show up in the next morning. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
That's how you got to do it.
Yeah. I love that, man.
Yeah.
It's like, and the other thing Goggins has always gone on about, which sounds like you relate, is because he knows he can go the extra mile. Yep. He wants the toughest conditions. Because everyone else is in the same boat. If it's a hot stadium and everyone's tired and it's like a sauna in the Clippers stadium. Yep. He wants it to be hotter.
That's
because they're gonna drop off. If it's cold, he wants it to be colder. Yep. If you're going for a run and there's an uphill, guess what? Everyone else is on that uphill with you. I wish the slant was the gradient was deeper. Yep. Right? I wish it was higher. Yep. And so the longer you can stay, and this speaks to what you're going for before, you know that you're going to win because you're not going to give up, and you're going to go, and you're going to go, and you're going to go. Everyone else is going to start dropping off as the circumstances get tougher and tougher and tougher. Yep. That next step you can take separates everything.
And I want people to understand that if you're in the same arena as me, you're going to ignore everybody else now because you know that I'm the one you have to beat. Because I'm going to be relentless and keep going. And if you beat me, much respect to you. And I will give you that respect. You know what I mean? Don't ask me to give you respect off something you haven't earned. Yep. You know what I mean? That's what a lot of young people do not. You're different. That's why I say you're different. Your generation, they put in a little bit of work. They want the maximum amount of receipt to receive for it. And that's not how it works. You do a lot of work, you get a little bit of success. Yep. But if you keep doing a lot of work and a little bit of success, and then you get more success, and you keep going, then you have a whole bunch of success, but you had to keep working the whole time to get there. That's how winning's done.
I was thinking of Rocky versus Creed when you said this, man. It's like Rocky versus Creed, you know. Rocky put up the fight against him in the first movie. And then Creed, when he lost, respect Rocky. You know, you got next.
That's it.
But you know, he wasn't gonna go down without fight. You know.
And somebody inspired me. Like the reason I'm the way I am now, because somebody inspired me that way. Somebody cared enough. People don't have to care about you, right? They don't have to give you any time. They don't have to give you any emotion. They can just keep going on with their life. If somebody takes time out of their life to care about you, that's time they can never get back. So make it worth it for them, right? So this guy named Tim Riley, he's one of the biggest human inspirations that I've ever come across in my life. Hopefully I inspire somebody like the way he inspired me.
You are, man.
I hope so.
Straight up, I'm inspired by you.
I appreciate
really
it.
I really am.
It. Thank you.
I journal pretty much every night, especially of late, and you know, every day there's something different that comes forward, something different. But I can tell you honestly, straight up, the amount of times that you've come up and be like, this was a positive thing in my day today.
Appreciate that.
Straight up. Yeah. And I've got my own little like private blog thing that I just, like a journal really.
Nice.
And like I've literally created like one, and you're on it, man. It's literally like, I admire this dude because of X, Y, Z, and I have so much respect for him and wish the best for you. Yeah. But also, I'm inspired by you. I really am.
Thanks, man.
So I appreciate you being here.
Good, man. This has been amazing. It's been an amazing experience. Every time we talk is pretty much an experience, man. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Let's smash out some of these last ones, and then we're there. Do you have a secret talent?
My talent is to make people be better than they can be by themselves.
Say that one more time.
My talent is I can make people be better than they can be by themselves.
I love that, man.
Yep. Because a lot of people don't believe in themselves. Yep. So I give them a little bit of progress that they've made and say, look, you couldn't do that before.
Yeah.
And they look at it like, oh my gosh, I've never done that before. Kangaroo point stairs are the best way to do it. Yeah. A lot of people can't. They do it once. I'm like, you did it once, man. Good job. Let's have a coffee. Yeah. You did it 3 times. Oh my gosh, man. Let's go get a Gatorade. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Then they do it 5 and 10. I said, man, when you started, man, you could do 1. Yeah. Now you're doing 20 stairs, man. Look at you. Look at your badass right now. All pumped up. Man, you inspiring me right now. That's how you got to be to people, man. You know what I mean? People can go to the moon if you give them that inspiration. That's the fuel. They need that. People need that, man. Instead of being so, well, I'm not gonna do anything for him. I'm gonna just do for myself. Me. My precious. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, man. If I inspire one person every day, and I know I make somebody feel better about themselves every day. Every day. Yeah. I know I go to bed and I said I made that person feel better. And I can see when people aren't. I'll go up to random people like, how you doing? Mm-hmm. No, I'm not here to rob you. You know, like, hey, that's a nice dress you got on. You know what I'm saying? I was raised by women, so I can always tell when women have their hair done. Yeah. And I'll be like,
I'm the same.
Yeah. I'm like, nice hair, dude. They'll be like, thank you.
Yeah, it shocks them, right?
Nice shoes. You know what I'm saying? Or sure, if when they have a nice smile, it could be a man or a woman. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So with a homeboy, it's like Jack Kajar. Have you seen him lately? Dude, he's putting on muscle.
Pretty big boy.
You know what I mean? Yep. And we've talked. I want to get my gray matter like he wants to get my physique. Yeah. Man, smart. Oh my gosh, he's ridiculously smart. Like he's over the top. Like he should be Rain Man smart. He's like Rain Man smart. Yeah, right. You ever seen that movie? Rain Man with Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman, and he's like Dustin Hoffman's an idiot savant.
Possibly not.
Yeah,
no. I'm gonna have to get to it.
Dude, Jack Kajar. Oh my gosh, dude, he is amazingly he's ridiculously smart. He's like off the charts.
Yeah, right.
But he saw how I was built, and I just push-ups, man. And dude, the guy's getting muscle now, and he's, you know, like nobody else could probably tell, but I'm an athlete. I'm a coach. I can see
attention to detail.
He's getting shoulders. He's getting chest now. He's getting a little bit of arms and forearms now. Good on you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and I would have never had anything to do with somebody like Jack Kajar back in the day. You know what I mean? Because I was an athlete. Yep. Fighting, refereeing, everything that I've had to go through in the last years to learn about myself, that's brought me to here. Now I'm open to everything. Doesn't mean I take in everything. Doesn't mean I'm going to go and do everything, but I'm open-minded to what people are and what the opportunities in life are.
Love it, man. I love it.
Appreciate you.
Who's your favorite person to ref with? Shout them out.
Woo! Jordan Harton. I'll tell you the first time I ref with Jordan. So it was my first time, man. I was so nervous. And I made a call in her area. And I think because...
She probably apologized to you, huh?
Oh, my God. And I think because she had to be like, well, you're not going to just boss me around or just because you're bigger or, I have to let you know that you can't do that. You know what I mean?
She did that?
She came up, she goes, that's my call. Don't call in my area. And I don't think she would remember.
Jordan Harden did that?
Yes, and I was just like, I respected her for the fact that here's this small, dainty girl, just I'm not small, and I just said but I don't think she was ready for my response, and I said, I am so sorry. I said, I'm sorry.
She was probably like, oh no.
She was just like, oh no, that's okay. Well, what you want to do is there's a beginning, middle, and an end. and then we've been thick as thieves ever since. You know what I'm saying?
God.
And then she helped me. Like she would like whenever I.
Oh my God, man! I love Jordan. I think she's amazing.
She is awesome, and I just remember and then she would, whenever I would do something right, she would like, awesome call, Michael. You know what I'm saying? Good, unsporty. Things like that. And and her mother's beautiful and everything. So she's, Carl Roberts.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Count Chocula.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's like, his hair is perfect and, just how he's so smooth. And I remember when he used to ref me, I liked him.
Yeah.
Because he would talk to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He'd be like, well, Mike, this is what and he just had such a way of coming across that would just disarm me. Now, I was very volatile as a player. I'd be like, what the hell? He'd be like, Mike, come here, man. This is why we called it. I didn't have anything to say after that. And then, he worked some of my events, my one-on-one basketball events.
Yeah.
So I like working. I love working. I love working with people that love to work with me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really one particular referee that I'll ever say I love, but those are the ones that they cared about me. They cared about my reffing. Another person that I enjoy reffing with, Jordan Laguna. I love reffing with him. But Camila Menzies.
Yeah?
I think she's so misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
She is a fantastic ref.
She is. She's a fantastic
outstanding.
Ref. Yes.
She can get, the way she explained some of the rules, I felt like I was listening to the rule book.
Yep.
Right? And she never really gets a call wrong.
She's incredible.
She is
she's actually, when you get to know Camellia, she's actually an incredible person as well. And shout out to Camellia because
yes.
I think she's got a whole lot of potential to be great.
Huge.
Yep.
Huge. The thing that I see from Camila is that, and I hope she takes this in the most constructive way, is that once I've known the girl for 3 years, she smiled at me at Australia Day, the sun came out. I was like, hey, Camila, because I think she's just focused on the game. I think she's just quiet. She's reserved. She's focused on what she needs to do for that.
Fierce, eh?
She
scares me. She used to scare me.
She doesn't scare me. I just wonder about her. Yep. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So then she came in. She's like, hey, Mike. And I was just like, did you just smile at me? I was like, I want to do cartwheels and stuff, but my hip would have probably gone out of place.
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if she could do that with players, like sometimes she's a bit, because players need to respect referees straight up, especially if you're a female referee. We had an incident. We won't go into that one, but players need, if there's referees that are female, you need to respect them. if that was your mom, you wouldn't talk to your mom like that. You probably talk to your sister like that, but never your mom. But the thing is, if you can learn just to have a little jocularity, learn to have a little bit of a personal side, and just joke with them. Like Toni Caldwell was good at that.
Yeah.
She was really good at having relationships with the basketball players, on the court, and just being able to say, hey, this is what happened, and that would happen, or just to make a bit of a joke. And she still had a high level of reffing.
Yeah.
But with Camila, I think
Camellia.
Yeah. Camellia. My bad. Camellia.
Yeah. I thought I better just come in and say that.
Thank you, Camellia.
Yes, Camellia.
I just feel like she could be one of the best refs ever. And if she could just implement that personal side and let them know you're just not a robot, you're just not reading from the rule book, because anybody can do that.
Yeah.
Have a personal side. If she does that, she smiled at me and I was like, oh my gosh, I got sunburn. It was crazy.
She's getting
and I got plenty of melanin, brother. Come on now.
Nah, that's nice, man. I appreciate what you said there. I think it's I think it should be taken in such a loving way, because at the end of the day, you also have to have these conversations. Like, when you care about someone, you tell them what you think. And
that's right.
To Camellia as well, this is one man's opinion.
Yep.
And you can filter that through your own lens of, let me actually assess, do I believe this is true? Can I adopt it?
Yep.
Or, you know what? Stuff it. Leave what he said. Don't even worry.
Yep.
Keep going about your day. Maybe you got it just fine.
Yep.
And I think that's what everyone needs to do anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think that was great. Hey, you know what's funny, man?
What's up?
Where we talked about Zhao. I can't stop laughing when I talk about Zhao, man. Do you know, secret information here, I hadn't said this before.
Okay.
We were at 18 state champs, and I wanted to do a podcast with Zhao. This was a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
This was what year are we? 2023, 2022. 2022 January state champs.
Yeah.
And I was like, Zhao, we need to do a podcast. Come on. And at night, after when we're back at the apartments, we went to a spot, down the mic. And as soon as I pressed record, we just started laughing. laughing. And I was like, Zhao, what's your name? How you doing? Tell me about yourself. And it's just... we just could not take it seriously to the point that we tried to have a conversation, but it was just, it's literally just Jal and Nathan laughing for 20 minutes. That's it. Yeah. And it's there's no way I could put it out there. It's just us laughing. Yeah. But it's
what that was? That was a therapy session.
For sure.
Yeah, because you needed to laugh. You needed to get it out. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So there's such amazing people in the basketball community as well.
Yes.
Anyway, let's move off that.
Yep.
Love all you people. Amazing. Anyway, who's the person that you look up to the most?
Well, the person that I looked up to most probably was my brother.
Yep.
But the person what I looked up to most is Christ.
Yeah.
No man lived better than he did. We hold Michael Jordan, LeBron, and any sports figure, actress, and all that. They all flawed. Christ lived the perfect life. He was sinless. And I mean, if Christ could put on a pair of shoes, who could guard him? You know what I mean? If I'm going to look up to anybody and who could top out all the facets in life, that would be Christ. Nobody could hold a torch to him. So yeah, I just look up to Christ, and I'm unabashed about that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that in you, man.
The more people go against me for that, the more I love him.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna ever go away from that, and I'm never gonna be ashamed about it. And we're moving into the times where people want to exclude people that are that love God and put him first.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So hopefully I get along with people and people can accept me for how I am, just like they ask me to accept them how they are.
Yes.
But if they don't, I have to be okay with it, because in the past I haven't always accepted people. I'm accepting now.
Yep.
But maybe people will warm up to me as they get to know me, and they understand that I'm not going to ever be inconsistent about how I feel about God.
That's amazing. I think that needs to really sink in with people who want to, as we said, at the start of this podcast, who's Mike? What's his deal?
Yep.
Right there.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. You got to put it out there. Put it out there how you are, and then go get it every day.
Yep.
Yep. I remember when I was little, man. Just a little story. I used to play gridiron. I didn't have a lot of friends. Like we lived in about 5 miles away. We was in Kentucky.
Yep.
Lived about 5 miles away from the town area. So sometimes I had friends to play with. Sometimes I didn't. So gridiron football, I would throw it to myself because I was a terrible receiver. So I would throw it to myself and have to run it and get it. And I did that for a whole summer. Then when football came the next season, shoot, I had the best reception percentage.
Yeah.
And I was like 9 or 10 years old. Got the most improved award.
How's that?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you work for it, let me tell you something. You know how people say they did their best. They did their best and they just couldn't get there. That's rubbish. Because if you do your best and you do everything you're supposed to be doing, you'll always succeed, man. You'll always get where you want to go. It's when you give up and you're right before the crucible or the crux or whatever.
4 feet from gold.
4 feet from goal, and you go and turn back.
Yep.
That's never been me. I've never had that type of regret. I never will. It won't be any different with this either.
Yeah.
When I'm done with reffing, I'm going to do something else.
Yep. I hear you on that. I try to live that way as well myself.
Yep. How is it? These people are just known for... I didn't want to be known as just a basketball player. I didn't want them to be known for just a fighter or an African American. I want to transcend all of that. You know, because that just makes you a human being. That you have the right to do anything that you put your mind and your commitment to. Right? What can stop you?
For sure. And most people don't even know what their best is. They never got there.
They've never tried.
I mean, even like David Goggins has like the 40% rule. He goes, when you think you're done, down and out, you're only 40% of your capacity.
That's
straight
right.
up. So much more to go.
Yeah. I do 5 sets of my exercise. That's when my workout starts. When I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Because that's when the mind starts, come on, Mike, you've done 5 already. How many more? I do 5, and then I do 10 more sets after that. Because then your mind's really having to work through it, isn't it? Like, you don't want to know more. Oh, I've done enough. No, I don't want to be in that generation of how people think they've done enough and they haven't. And they want to be rewarded for things that other people are working harder for. No, I'm going to work. Nobody's going to outwork me.
Have you seen? I think it's the movie Remember the Titans,
yes.
where the dude he's in the bear crawl position,
yes.
and he gets a guy on his back, and he's like, I want you to go 20 feet, or I want you to give me your best, but I want you to give me your absolute best, and you're doing it with a blindfold on, right? So it's one step at a time. That wasn't that movie. That's a different movie.
Yeah, I saw that movie.
Anyway,
you're talking about.
He's going, and he's like, give me your best, your absolute best. He's like, I'm tired. He's like, I said your best. And then he finally finishes and he drops on the ground. And he goes, did I make it to the 20 meter line or something? And the coach goes, you're in the end zone.
You did the whole field.
Yes. It's like, and he did not believe that was possible.
Yes.
But when he gritted down, like, most people don't know what the best is. That's why I'm trying to get across.
But don't you see that's a little bit like God? God can see what you can do. You can't see what you can do. But if you have that faith and you keep going, you've gone past the 20, and actually God wanted you to do the whole field. He showed you could do the whole field. And maybe you had to go through a war of attrition to do that. But then in the end, you got to the end of the field. You did more than you thought you could do.
Yes.
I mean, to me, that's the grace of God, man. To me, that's the power of what He made us. I'm His creation. I'm boundless.
I hear you. Powerful stuff. Amazing, man. I've got 3 more and then done, and they're quick ones too.
Yes.
If you could walk away from a game and say one thing and be happy, what is it?
That I gave that I prepared for the game.
Yep.
That I gave my absolute best, and that I had the best attitude doing it.
Bang. What's your favorite song?
Woo! Now you're getting there.
This is going.
My favorite song would have to be. Wow, you really got me there. It's changed over the years. Like when I was growing up with Tupac and all that, and Eminem.
Yeah.
But now I've sort of gotten into words that mean something to my life. Awesome God. Awesome God by R. Swift.
Amazing.
That's my favorite song, Awesome God.
Favorite movie?
Wow, favorite movie would have to be Rocky 2.
Ah, that's
Rocky
like,
2.
I'm pretty sure that might be my favorite as well.
Yes.
Rocky 2 and 3 and 4 are all pretty good, but I think Rocky 2 is the one.
I think Rocky 2, but then Rocky 3 where he had to overcome his fear, because that was a lot of what I had to overcome. You know, I grew up sort of, my life was a little bit of violent, you know, a little bit violent, not to the, I can't compare it to violence of whatever other people have gone through, but I had to overcome a lot of fear. And that's one reason I got into fighting as well, because I was just tired of being afraid. I was tired of not knowing who I was. And when you fight, here's a question. How much do you really know about yourself, who you are, if you've never been in a fight? Or if you've never had to fight for anything?
That's the key right there.
That's right. When you're in a cage, you're literally fighting for your life. You have somebody who wants to hurt you.
Yeah.
But that's just like life too. You have people that are for you, and then people want to hurt you.
Yeah.
More people who want to hurt you. Trust me.
I agree that you learn the most about yourself when you're in the deepest trenches. When you're in the grit, the grind. You're in the toughest position. All odds against you, and you have to push through. That's when you learn the most about yourself. You don't learn the most about yourself in the.
If I want to learn about somebody, I'll just watch one of their basketball games. I'll watch them train.
Says a lot.
I'll watch them. Do they come early? Do they leave late? Do they give all their effort in the training? What's their attitude like? Are they supportive or are they demeaning? You know, you can learn a lot about everybody in an hour of training of basketball.
I'm going to throw one last one in there.
Yes.
Is there a favorite quote that you have? Because I see you like your quotes.
Yeah, I love my quotes. But I'll go scripture, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Steph Curry has that on his shoes, huh?
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Steph Curry has that on his shoes.
It's a bit overused now.
It's nice though.
Yeah, it is.
It's true.
It speaks right to the heart of things.
You know,
you're not alone in this world. God loves you. God is Christ. I mean, He sent His only begotten Son to die for our sins. Think about it. You only have one Son. You make Him go down. He lives for 33 years, performs all these miracles, does what He does, keeps the commandments that you, as that's your Son, but He keeps your commandments, keeps you, you know what I mean, stays within your principles, and He gets slaughtered at the cross. Yeah. But He did that to become the Lamb of God, because prior to that, He had to sacrifice lambs and goats and things like that. So that's why they call Christ the Lamb of God, because He was sacrificed. Now we don't have to make those sacrifices anymore. We just have to give salvation through Christ.
Nice.
It's that easy.
Yep. Sweet, man. Do you have a final message you want to say? And then we're done. We're out.
Whatever you want to do in life, really. There's no bounds. You just go out there and find out what you want to do. Find out how to go about it. Get the best people around you. Get the most positive people around you. And sometimes they're not going to be your best friends. And what will happen is you'll start to separate yourself, because your best friends, we never see you anymore, blah, 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 because you're hanging around people that want to succeed. If your friends wanted you to succeed, maybe they'll come in with you. But if they're not succeeding, and you are, and you're happening to be around those people that are succeeding, that's the path you're supposed to be on. If they drop off, then they're not really your friends anyway. Always surround yourself with good people. Eat right. Get plenty of sun. Smile. Find something to smile about every day. You woke up today. Like I said, we had 10 million people that dropped off the earth today, never to be, breathe another, fresh breath of air again, man. And that's it. That's their time is done. So that's what I do. Just wake up and just be grateful for every day, every second you have. Because literally, it's gone. Look, everybody's dying today, man. 50, 55, 60. How short of a life is that, man? We're supposed to live to like 100 something. People were back in the Bible were living like 500-600 years old. Air was pure, food was pure, not as many vices.
Yep.
So yeah, man. Just you have one life. In Terminator, they have that. There's a quote. It says something like it's fate, but the fate that you make is the fate that you make. it's your own. You have to make your own fate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like everybody thinks there's a predestination. Like Michael Jordan had it so much better. You know how hard Michael Jordan had to work, how hard Kobe had to work? People who succeed have to work harder than the people that just want. You either need it or you want it. You know what I mean? Like Tony Curtis. The last thing I'll give you is this. Tony Curtis, he's an actor. You know who he is?
Nope.
He's Jamie Lee Curtis's father.
I might know him.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
So he went in an audition one day, and the director had seen 200 people. And he was just like, hold on. He said, it's been a long day. I have a question for you. He said, do you need this part or do you want this part? Tony Curtis was broke. He had a family to support. He had been through 10 doggone auditions himself. And he dropped to his knees and he was just in tears. He said, sir, I need this. I got to feed my family. I can't do nothing else. I don't know how to work. I don't know how to, all I know is how to do is act. I need this, man. I need it. Done. Director said, you got the part. Didn't hear him audition, nothing. But the sincerity, the energy that he was given, he knew this guy was going to be the best actor he could get all day. And that's how you either need it or you want it. You know, a lot of people want it, but they're not doing what it takes to need it.
Boom.
That's it. So, and when people go, how bad do you want it?
I was so trapped in that story, man. How bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it? No, how bad do you need it? That's the question you should be asking. Not how bad do you want it? Because if you want it and you fail, you go do something else. But if you need it, it's like air. There's no other substitute for air.
Yeah, there's a quote. He goes, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.
There you go.
Yes,
Was that David Goggins as well?
No. I got this one from Mika Lancaster when I used to watch like YouTube basketball videos when I was like
Wasn't
13.
a story about how he took somebody out into the ocean?
He might have got that from somewhere else.
He did.
I don't know who created the quote.
The story is this.
Tell me.
He said, you want to succeed? All right, meet me at the beach. So this guy came out and he had dress clothes. He said, why am I at the beach? I got dress clothes. He said, no, come with me. Drug him out to the ocean.
Yes.
And that was the story because he held him on. He held him down underwater and he was like,
pulled him up.
You wanted to breathe. He said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll succeed. I appreciate you, brother.
That's it, man. We're done.
Yes.
Hey, really appreciate you coming down.
Hey, man, it's been a pleasure, man.
Made the trip.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you, just being a leader out here and spreading the good vibes and practicing what you preach and just being a good guy. And I really, truly want to wish you the best, and I want you to go get that NBL gig.
Yeah,
and I believe you can do it.
And here's what I want to say. You have a lot of people my age, and they're like, oh, the youth of this world, and blah, 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 and they're giving up. It's the 1 in 10,000, Django, like yourself, that give me hope that we don't have a bunch of young idiots going to run the country someday. There are people that are like you, that have a good mind a good head on their shoulders. So that's all we need. We just need a handful. And then you can make that next generation just amazing because you'll have that leadership.
That's it, man.
Yep.
Bang.